Okay, this is a CO2 explanation. I'm already past the explanation, so I guess it's getting on to like CO2 evolution in my system, or whatever. I'm creating stuff, so trying to make it better. A friend of mine from one of my Facebook groups suggested that I inject the CO2 directly into the line since I have a canister filter, and I decided, I had one in mind, a fancy, nice, fancy one that I was going to buy, and I probably still will. I definitely still will. But and I even found it on sale, which was good. But I had these parts just laying around the house, so you know what? Why not? So it'd be a challenge. I never built one before, um, so let me give it a try and see what happens. Um, if I could actually do it. So here it is. Obviously, it works. How well it works, I'm not positive yet. The way that I set it up, I was able to prime the. This is the reaction chamber, the CO2 reaction chamber. I was able to prime that with CO2 from me actually the exhaling the exhaust from my breath, which is CO2. So I was able to put that in there. It's quite a bit of pressure. I was surprised. Um, I was only able to get it to go down about maybe a third of the way, and then the pressure was just so much that I couldn't, I wasn't able to force any more air in there. But here we go. I used ceramic rings, ceramic media to break up the bubbles somewhat if they were to get down there. I'm not sure if that was actually necessary. It may not be, but the ones that I'd seen had bio balls in them, so I did that. So back to the CO2 regular, back still got the yeast system going. So I consider this only medium tech. Um, I wouldn't say it's high tech yet, but you know, fizzes up, goes through into the reservoir there to catch any of the gunk. This one's burning actually pretty smooth. It's burning really clean. Um, Comes through. Have my little needle valve here so I can adjust the flow, how many bubbles I got going. Turn it up, turn it down, whatever. And then it comes down here. Hospital parts. They threw it away, so I grabbed it uh, just to, if I need to stop the flow when I take it apart. That's how I was able to prime it with the CO2 from my exhaling. This year I had to make a bubble counter, so I was able to tell how much CO2 I'm putting in there and get a better idea when it comes to tuning it, to tuning the whole system to how much CO2 is going to be going in here. The whole purpose of this, and then from there it goes in, through the tube and down. It goes through the tube. Sorry, goes through the tube and into the reaction chamber. And in that reaction chamber here, it's working against gravity. This is what we call counter current. The current's flowing down, but the bubbles naturally rise in water. So the bubbles go up and the current goes down. So what happens is the bubbles are in there swirling all around and stuff, and they're smacking the ceramic rings and all that kind of stuff, and the water force is flowing through. The filter's only on half right now, and it's breaking the bubbles up into smaller pieces and smaller parts until it dissolves into the water. So the idea here is to get 100% diffusion. I just turned it up just to make sure that all my CO2 is going through there into the system, because it's hard to tell with all those little bubbles going around. But obviously you can see it there. You can see it just blowing out, which is good. So turn it back down, to a normal level. And I still do, still want to move up to pressurized system, which will be actually high tech, which is why I said I can only consider it as medium tech. But I would still want to move up to the high tech system, so I'm able to turn it off at night, hook it up to a solenoid so it can be automatic, um, all that good stuff. And this is, just another little fun project. Just see if it worked, and it's working. We'll see how it does if I get, you know, a lot better plant growth. There we go. Now you can see the chamber filled back up. So the fact that the level moved there shows me that I have a small leak somewhere, a really small leak. So I'll find that small leak and I'll seal it up, and then it should be good. And hopefully, going to get a lot better plant growth now, with 100% of the CO2 diffusing into the water instead of a lot of it popping off and going into the atmosphere. So we'll see what happens. You know, stay tuned.